In the first part of the chapter, that is role of political parties, we have discussed about the role of Congress. Role of Congress was discussed threadbare or in elaborate or detailed way. Why? Because Congress has lot of period under its they were ruling from in the entire period, that is all the 4 decades of this Telangana agitation or movement. So Congress has power and it is in a position to take some decision or make some impact on the movement. So we discussed the role of Congress threadbare. Now in this part 2, we will be discussing about the role of the political parties, other political parties, starting with Telugu Desam. Telugu Desam, why we are taking up Telugu Desam? Because Congress was the only party which ruled Andhra Pradesh. Then the opposition came in the form of Telugu Desam, and within 9 months of the formation of the party Telugu Desam, it came to power. Otherwise, starting from our post-independence period or Telangana formation period, Andhra Pradesh formation period, it was a Congress which was in the opposition, which was in the rule. So, when we are talking about the political parties, you can't talk about the other parties. There are some parties like Jansangh or Swatantra Party, which were not at all having their presence in Telangana, or they are smaller parties. They impacted in a different way. For example, you take Swatantra Party, they always supported the demand of Telangana. They always supported. They supported here. Gautulachana, who was a signatory for the Gentleman's Agreement, was always critical about the Andhra leadership, and he was the leader of Swatantra Party. N.G. Ranga raised his voice for Telangana in Parliament. He was supporting the demand of Telangana. These two people are the only legislators or people's representatives who were voicing their concern about Telangana. The others were not. There are other parties also, like Republican Party of India or the other party, that is Jansangh. They were critical about the role of Indira Gandhi, or some of the other parties like Socialists. At times, whenever there is a debate, they openly came in support of Telangana, or at least they were opposing the stands taken by Indira Gandhi. Like that, there are movements. But come to Telugu Desam. Telugu Desam Party has a specific character. What is the character of Telugu Desam? The genesis of Telugu Desam itself is in the Telugu pride. Telugu pride is nothing but a common or a feature for Telangana and Andhra, if you want to take in a positive way. But it is a garb for the new ruling class which is coming to power opposing opposing Congress. So Telugu Desam, which started as a Telugu pride, was completely it is covering the original Telangana issue always. Because post 1975 to 83, the colonization aspect we have discussed about Telangana. After that, you are getting Telugu Desam into politics. Once Telugu Desam into power, Telugu Desam is uniting the entire Telugu speaking land for their concerns, for their interests, and for time being, definitely, the identity of Telangana was being blunted or scuttled. Blunted, it's a better word. Blunted means we all under the scheme of Telugu pride. So Telangana people were also, very interestingly, BCs were the votaries. BCs were in Telangana TDP. So automatically Telangana society welcomed TDP. So now what TDP has done to Telangana? Till 2009 elections, TDP was for Samaikandhra. It never supported Telangana because its genesis, its leadership, its Politburo, its supreme leader, N.T. Ramarao, he cannot leave Telangana. He was always for United Andhra Pradesh because his whole motto is Telugu pride. He can't leave Telangana. Very interestingly, he lost his election in Mahbub Nagar to Chittaranjan Das. That is where you can see still Telangana is not completely accepting the leadership of Andhra. A great leader or having a charisma, that is NTR losing election in Mahbub Nagar, is an indication of Telangana always differed with the Andhra leadership in elections. Then, electoral compulsions are the only thing for Telangana TDP. In 2009, They were out of power from 2004. YS Rajshekar Reddy defeated Chandrababu Naidu by taking TRS into alliance. TRS was there in power for 2 years, and YS Rajshekar Reddy could win the elections because of the Mahakutami, that alliance, grand alliance. All the votes from different parties you could garner, and he came into power. Come 2009 elections, Rajshekar Reddy was sitting pretty with his power, and he was opposing Telangana. And now TDP took the opportunity, and till then he was never for Telangana. As we already studied, Yanamala Ramakrishnudu ruled that you should not take the name of Telangana in assembly. You just mention as backward area. That much opposition was there. And such a party is coming into alliance along with TRS for votes, for the cause of Telangana. The basic thing is nothing but to take the votes of Telangana, to garner the votes, and to come back to power. So that is why in Mahakutami, TDP voted for Telangana. TDP said yes for Telangana. And before that also, for Pranab Mukherjee committee, they sent the approval. Means in principle they said, we are for Telangana. If you give Telangana, we'll vote for it. Like that assurance was given. It means on paper they are saying for Telangana, but in essence they are not for Telangana. So that is why after 2004, in between, by 2008, Devendra Gaud, a strong leader in TDP, the person who was second in command in, you can say, from Telangana, and Devendra Gaud left TDP and formed a party known as Nava Telangana Party in 2008. So this was because inside TDP there was no place for Telangana demand. So that is why Devendra Gaud came out, and 2009 elections it was a compulsion. You can see 2009 elections, they were defeated with a narrow margin, because Prajarajam was the spoil sport in the whole thing. Prajarajam cut the anti-incumbents votes. For example, Congress is there in the power for the past term. The opposition to Congress, the votes who are opposing the ruling Congress are divided, and some percent of votes were cut by Prajarajam, and ultimately Mahakutami could not get into power. Again YS Rajshekar Reddy came to power. So after this you can see 2009 there are serious things are happening within no time. After YS Rajshekar Reddy's death in the helicopter accident, Roshaya came, and again all we will talk about the whole things in a different chapter. But before 9th December declaration of Chidambaram, when KCR was on fast, on 7th December, there was an all-party meet. Ashok Gajapatraju attended the meet representing TDP, and he said, we are willing to accept the demand of Telangana. This was the approval from the TDP. On 8th December in assembly, Chandrababu Naidu was speaking for Telangana in assembly. On 9th December, Chidambaram gave a statement saying that the process will be beginning. The process only. He is saying the process will be initiated for the formation of Telangana. Process will be initiated. This is the first step, not even first step. This is the intention to start the first step. Within no time, all the anti-Telangana parties or people got polarized under the leadership of Chandrababu Naidu, as we could understand. He was the rallying point for the Samaikandra politics in those days. So, on 10th, immediately he opposed a Chidambaram statement saying that why should you give a statement in the night? Why so hurry? There was a hurry. KCR was on fast. Things were moving on a fast pace. The central government declared it gave its statement on Telangana. It's a policy statement. Remember, this was the first policy statement issued by the central government. In the common minimum program, it was an intention. Now it is the government's statement that the process will be initiated. And now when you heard that this process will be initiated, these people got shocked. All these people were under those anti-Telangana votes were under the anti-Telangana parties were under the impression that whatever you do, you give yes or no, whatever it is, the central government is not going to give Telangana. So why you get a bad name? So you say yes. When the central government has declared Telangana or the process initiation, immediately they got shocked. And now they started the opposition. That is what we see. Even some of the leaders of TDP were saying, we said yes for Telangana because we were under the impression that the center is not going to grant. It means this is a mere opportunism or treachery or a deceit, you can see. So on 10th, he said, we are opposing Chidambaram statement. What is a hurry? You are giving it, you are declaring in the evening, night. Where is the hurry? That's what he said. And since then, the party's policy, Chandrababu has come out with a clear policy. He cannot say no for Telangana because if you say no for Telangana, your entire Telangana party will be wiped out. If you say yes for Telangana, your own base will be cut. So what he was talking is, that is 2I theory, rendu kalla siddhantam. Naku Andhra, Telangana rendu kallu. Because I have 2 eyes, I can't support anything. My party people will support. In Telangana, Telangana TDP will support Telangana. In non-Telangana region, that is Andhra Rayalaseema, TDP legislators or leaders from this region will support Samaikya Andhra. So both things will run in the same party. This is a divided house, like Congress. Congress is a different story. In Congress, at least it has initiated the process, and Congress is always a different thing. And people will be supporting, some will be opposing. But TDP, more disciplined, much more disciplined party than Congress in all the times. This man, that is Chandrababu Naidu, has clearly given a statement saying that this is the 2I theory. So you do whatever you want, so that you can retain your base in Telangana too. This is what I called as opportunism. You are not taking a stand on a just demand. If you don't think that it's a just demand, you say it's an unjust demand. But when you say you can do this, you are allowing this and that, and this is nothing but it is a it is an opportunistic stand, I say. So this we can see always TDP was playing this opportunistic stand. In the last phase, till the last phase also, TDP people were supporting Telangana movement and Andhra Rayalaseema leaders were supporting Samaikya Andhra movement. They were vehemently opposing in the parliament. Their leader like Sujana Chaudhary, Ramesh, all these people were opposing with the placards. They were saying save Andhra Pradesh, and no one was discouraging them. So opposition in the parliament, there were two parties who were opposing strongly. One is, of course, some of the Congress leaders. Second is TDP, and third is YS Jagan. These people were opposing with placards inside the parliament house, we can see. So this is the role of Telugu Desam during this entire period. Now, we'll discuss the role of BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party was never in power in the state, and in the center it came very late, post Ram Janmabhoomi issue. So the earlier avatar is, that is Janasangh. Janasangh, a party which was the predecessor for this BJP. Janasangh was critical of Indira Gandhi's positions in the parliament, but not completely into supporting or completely openly supporting Telangana like Arya Samaj or any other group. But Janasangh was critical of Indira Gandhi's position. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was criticizing Indira Gandhi whenever she is declaring a new formula. And the violence in Hyderabad or Telangana districts, he was concerned, he was talking about it. So all the parliamentary records show that Janasangh was critical of Indira Gandhi. It's quite natural because you are in opposition, definitely you are criticizing it. And it did not take a serious stand directly, and it was a nominal, in Telangana, BJP was a nominal force always. So you can't expect them to come out or lead the agitation, but they have to spell out their stand. And their stand became very clear only after some time, after the formation of BJP. BJP formulated one position, came out with a formula that smaller states will bring us power. Means if you divide bigger states, you can easily enter into smaller states. That is why smaller state policy was a very, very important policy in the earlier years of BJP. That is why they supported the formation of Uttarakhand, they named it as Uttaranchal, carved out of UP, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. They were supporting. They have carved it. Though the process was initiated or there was a talk during Devegowda period also. So, formation of smaller states was the policy of BJP. They were supporting it. So, as a result, in Telangana, in Andhra Pradesh too, they came out with a slogan at Kakinada meeting in 1997. They came out with a slogan, one vote, two states. It's like a bargain. You vote for BJP, you give me one vote, we'll give you two states. It looks like some advertisement. And really it was an advertisement. This will appeal to Telangana. And Coastal Andhra did not care for it, that slogan. But Telangana definitely, this will, even a smaller, statement will definitely soothe our feelings. So Telangana was serious about this one or two states. They were talking openly about the BJP is the only party which can give you Telangana. But nothing was happening. And Ale Narendra quit BJP in 2001. Ale Narendra, a strong leader, a big leader from Hyderabad, a staunch leader of this BJP politics. And he was, you can say, he has a lot of clout in Hyderabad city. And Narendra quit BJP in 2001 and formed a party known as Telangana Sadhana Samiti. This Telangana Sadhana Samiti, he formed it because in BJP there is no one who is serious about Telangana demand. He, along with Mechineni Kishan Rao and some more people like Shamantak Reddy and these people were into Telangana Sadhana Samiti. And later, after a few months, after TRS formation, because of the initiative taken by KCR and other leaders too, that Ale Narendra's party was merged with TRS. So, BJP, though they declared that we are for Telangana, there was a split in the party itself and new party was formed. And under NDA, though they gave all smaller states, they were ruling for 5 years. Entire 5 years. If you are serious about one vote, two states, why you haven't initiated the process of Telangana formation? It is because Advani in one of the statements said, it is because of the pressure from Chandrababu Naidu, we were not giving you Telangana. It means Chandrababu was completely against giving Telangana because he has stakes and he could pressurize the NDA. And Telangana was not granted during NDA period because of Chandrababu Naidu. Then what you have to think about TDP's position or Chandrababu Naidu's position when you talk about Telugu Desam, you can understand. So this is about BJP. But in the latter phase, you can see by 2005, the activists inside BJP could convince their central leadership, and finally, inside BJP also there is a favorable understanding about Telangana. So, in the last phase, when JAC, Joint Action Committee, was formed, they were part of it. They were actively taking part in JAC because it is a joint platform. Many parties are there. There are some parties which are from ML, some groups like New Democracy, CPM and New Democracy, TRS and many other parties, and BJP was part of it. Though their representation is not up to the mark inside JAC, as they are part of JAC, we can say that they were part of the movement for some time. And interesting aspect is Sushma Swaraj, when she came to Hyderabad, there was a meeting in Nizam College organized by AVP and these people, BJP people, to address the Telangana society and Telangana movement. Sushma Swaraj appealed against the suicides. She said, please don't commit suicides. So we have to fight and get Telangana. That was a good appeal in that sense, because suicides are the very tragic propositions happening in Telangana society during that period. No sane leadership, no leadership was ready to fight or ready to take this aspect mainly. People were dying in suicides, committing suicides. So Sushma Swaraj appealed from the dais and she said, we are for Telangana, we support Telangana. And in the last aspect, if you want to give credit to BJP about Telangana, Congress is ready to introduce the bill. But if BJP opposes, as that is a principal opposition, main opposition, you cannot pass the bill. So cooperation from BJP is also very important. So in the end, when Congress introduced the bill or making the process move forward, BJP cooperated. So ruling party plus opposition together made the parliamentary process smooth. So role of BJP can be attributed for smoothly passing the bill in the last phase. So this was the role of BJP. And come to the role of CPI. Communists have a small problem with Telangana. The problem is when they were so powerful in 1950s, CPI led the Telangana armed struggle, and after the Telangana armed struggle, they were into elections. Because of Telangana armed struggle, communists had a strong base in Telangana society, villages. And that base was translated into votes, and many candidates won, and they are representing the people in the assembly. At one point of time, Ravi Narayan Reddy was challenging Nehru to come and contest on him. That was the strength of communists in Telangana because of the Telangana armed struggle. So CPI in those days formulated, when there is a talk of unifying or merging Telangana part of Hyderabad state with Andhra, that is Vishalandhralo Prajarajam. The leadership of CPI, then CPI, you don't have CPM then, leadership of CPI, Communist Party of India, were thinking that if we have Telugu areas together, since you have much influence of Communist Party in Telangana, that influence can be spread to Andhra areas too, and further we can grow. So come to power through elections also, they might be thinking. So the influence of Telangana should fall on Andhra, and Andhra also, leadership is from Andhra, most of the communist leadership is from Andhra. The complete state level leadership is from Andhra, and cadres and the movement, strong movement is from Telangana. So CPI leadership then thought that it's better we have both areas together so that this influence can be translated into votes or power in Andhra too. So that is why they came out with the slogan Vishalandhralo Prajarajam. That is why again when you are talking about the bill, CPM people were saying that a linguistic state. Vishalandhra, that is Andhra, because you are Telugu speaking people, you are into one state. That is what their understanding was. So this is the essence of communism originally. So CPI, which divided into CPI and CPM later in 1964, we are talking about CPI stand now. CPI was against Telangana in the beginning. Till 2009, they were not seriously taking any stand. But post 2009, they are mending or they are changing their stance and they are supporting Telangana. CPI leadership after 2009, this December declaration, at many places when CPI leadership went, like Narayana went to Kakatiya University, their students out him, said, you tell your stand now, then only you will go. Give a slogan that Jai Telangana, then we will leave you. That is how they have out many leaders. Even Nagam Janardhan Reddy, like people from TDP were out. K. Keshav Rao was out on the tank bund. Madhu Yashki was out. So people were forcing the leaders in other parties to take a clear-cut stand. In that process, CPI Narayana was out, and CPI leadership was from inside in the party, there was serious pressure. So finally CPI took a decision in favor of Telangana. Since then, they are completely with Telangana. And they have organized a Telangana Poru Yatra from Jodenghat to Hyderabad, speaking the issues of Telangana, supported the Telangana formation bill in parliament. They were active in many things, like Narayana was openly speaking for Telangana, and Gunda Mallesh, their representative in assembly, was talking for Telangana, attending the meetings of other activists who are calling for meetings. For example, Telangana Journalist Forum was calling for a meeting. Telangana Journalist Forum organized a mock assembly or many all-party meetings, non-governmental meeting. Gunda Mallesh was coming and speaking for Telangana in all those meetings. That is how CPI played a positive role in the last phase of the movement. Then comes the stand of CPM. CPM, Communist Party of India, Marxist. Their stand is completely different from CPI. They retained the stand of opposition to Telangana, which they had earlier and continued till the end. But a small change. The change is, we don't support Telangana, but at the same time we don't oppose. If you are bringing the bill, we don't oppose, but we don't support openly. That is our stand. This was a slight change in the stance. They were opposing Telangana till the formation, in essence. Because if you are not supporting, you are abstaining or you are opposing, ultimately you are in the opposition, you are not in support. Because as I have already discussed, that policy of Vishalandra Prajarajam and policy of linguistic state, you can understand. These two things played an important role. Then, Sitaram Yechury, the leader of CPM, abstained from voting when the bill came in Parliament in 2014. Sitaram Yechury, he did not vote. It means you are opposing the bill. In essence, you are opposing the formation also. You are abstaining the bill. You are not saying no, but you are abstaining means definitely pro votes will be divided. So CPM never supported in open or completely and did not oppose to suit the condition. That's it. Suit the condition means what? If you don't support also, the thing is rolling on. With your vote, there is no change. CPM voting out, CPM opposing Telangana bill will not do anything because already Congress and BJP numbers are enough to get Telangana. So still they maintain their ideological clarity or supremacy or opportunism or understanding, whatever you call, and said we are abstaining vote. This is the role of CPM. Then next one is MIM, Majlis Party. Majlis Party opposed the merger with Andhra because they are into Hyderabad state. But since then, they are not in favor of Telangana because they were in tandem with the ruling class always. So after 1957, they were completely not into the formation of Telangana. They want to be part of Andhra Pradesh only. Their prominent leader, their founder, they are not founder actually, their resurrecting leader means MIM is a old party. It was started in 1930s and 1957. They call him as Salar Sahib, that is Sultan Salahuddin Owaisi, in 1989-90 period. Only for one time, he joined Telangana Sangarshana Samiti, a small coalition, to support Telangana, but only once. That is the only one phase or 1 year we can say. But later they did not support Telangana movement. And final stage, when Sri Krishna committee came, they were expressing their opposition to Telangana. And they were demanding, their demand is Rayala Telangana, carve out 2 districts from Rayalaseema, that is Kurnool and Anantapur, join with Telangana, and a creation of Rayala Telangana was the demand brought out by MIM. Why Rayala Telangana? Again, this is a question of votes. More number of Muslim votes in these 2 districts, make it part of Telangana, and you will have your say or power. This is another opportunism, another type of opportunism. So MIM was in essence not in favor of Telangana. Took time to readjust after the formation of Telangana. And then comes Prajarajam, which is not existing now. And Prajarajam's philosophy is, I would like to say, it is confusion compounded. Confusion compounded means it's always confused because you don't have the ideological clarity. If you don't have the ideological clarity, you are always confused. Flip-flop, you will be changing your stance. And Nava Telangana party, when it merged with Prajarajam, then they have to take a stand. And they came out with the slogan of Prajaswamika Telangana, Democratic Telangana. Democratic Telangana or Prajaswamika Telangana means what? First is you have to get the geographical Telangana. You fight for democracy in the party, in this also. You want to show something different because the ideologues of Prajarajam, if we go through the names, they are from Andhra. There is no ideologue from Telangana who is what you call influencing Chiranjeevi. Many ideologues like Dr. Mitra, he is from Nellore, he is from Puchalapalli Sundarayya's grandson, and he was into support of Samaikya. So you can't expect them to be pro. But the situation is different. Chiranjeevi mass base is there in Telangana. So they came out with this slogan. But finally, when the real issue came, when the bifurcation issue has come, Prajarajam gone back with the promise. And they went into that camp of Samaikyanధ్ర. So, the reason of Prajarajam's flip-flop or confusion is Chiranjeevi is a politically an ignorant man. Politically ignorance means he is not politically sharp in that sense. He is a charismatic leader, actor, and he has a great following, a good actor. But politically, he is not so sharp. So automatically, your political ignorance will translate into that. Plus, mentors, his mentors are anti-Telangana. So this is about Prajarajam. Then comes YSR. YSR Congress, we have already talked about YSR's opposition and his successors. They did not openly, discussed about anti-Telangana. Because in Telangana, you have a mass base. If you say no to Telangana, your mass base will erode. So again, they have taken shelter behind Article 3 in the crucial juncture. When the debate was on, YSR party has brought out a point that, see, we are not in a position to give or take. Who are we? We don't have that strength. So the center, which has the power, can use Article 3 and do whatever it wants. We can't stop or we can't initiate. So they are not spelling out to save their base in Andhra. They are not spelling out their opposition to save their base in Telangana. Finally, when the voting is happening, their leader Jagan opposed Telangana and he took the placards, and the placards were displayed to save Andhra Pradesh, opposing Telangana, and he tore the copies of the bill. So that was the overt expression of opposition to Telangana by Jagan. That is YSR Congress role. Then comes the last party, a small party, a lone leader, that is Jayaprakash Narayan, and he is always escaping behind an intellectual interpretation of things. State formation is not a solution, he says, and state formation is not a solution, and he will not oppose directly, but opposes through the statement, slips inside the intellectual formulations, and tries to influence the central government. He used to have his discussions, or he used to have appointments with Prime Minister when TRS leaders or some other leaders are not getting. He is trying to influence his opinion, through his opinion, at the center. That is what he was doing. So he opposed Telangana in essence, he did not support, but his party cadres were supporting Telangana demand. So if you see smaller parties, but in essence they are not for Telangana, except TRS and divided houses of Congress and TDP. All are taking some opportunistic positions. CPI, of course, though it's a small party, took a clear position. So these are the political parties taken this. So how to conclude? I formulate the whole thing into these sentences. If you are writing about the role of political parties, you can represent the whole aspect like this. Opportunism was the main aspect of political parties regarding Telangana movement. Opportunism. Except TRS, which has only one agenda, that is Telangana, all other parties were harming the interests, since all parties have genesis or stake in Andhra too. Third point, Congress could have emerged as the giver of Telangana, but its Andhra lobby was so strong, and always at the right time it took a wrong decision on wrong turn or delayed the formation of Telangana. Otherwise, Congress would have been emerged as a co-champion along with TRS, but it missed that opportunity. And last point, the mass movement of Telangana combined with parliamentary efforts of TRS and the final stage Congress, this was the reason for achieving Telangana. So on one side, mass movement was there, on the other side, political parties were there, which gave us Telangana. Without this combination, Telangana could not have been achieved. That is the essence of this chapter, that is the role of political parties.